Coming up on this edition of SCS Logo Matters, 16 residents vie for appointment to an open city council seat. Visitors to city buildings notice changes and new procedures to help combat COVID-19. And the city temporarily relocates the white drop box and the 2 U.S. mailboxes in front of City Hall. These stories and more when SCS Logo Matters starts right now. Hi, I'm Mary Jane Laverty, Communications Director for the City of St. Clair Shores, and you're watching SCS Local Matters. We bring you 100% city news with information you can trust. In this week's top story, 16 residents applied for the open city council seat vacated by the passing of Councilmember Pete Rubino in April 2020. Per the city charter, applicants must be a resident of St. Clair Shores for at least 2 years, a citizen of the U.S. and a registered voter, and at least 25 years of age. Council set a deadline of June 23rd for application submissions. Residents under consideration for an appointment to the current city council vacancy are Matthew Bush, Christine Crook, Joseph Frizard, Mindy Girolando Timmons, Henry Goetz, Nicholas Handy, Sarah Lanyon, Justin Maniaci, Dwayne Micknow, Gordon Miskelly, Jennifer Oresti, David Rebello, Michael Smites Jr., LaWanda Turner, Bradley Venatelli, and David Wheeler. In addition to the application, a resume, and a list of community activities and/or experience that would be relevant to the city council position and reasons for wanting to serve on council, applicants were required to answer 6 questions created by the current city council members. The questions included a scenario to identify 2 votes taken over the past 4 years by the current council in which the applicant disagreed with the majority vote. Explain why they feel that the majority got those votes wrong and what the applicant would have done or decided differently to address the issue before council. They also needed to detail what steps the applicant would take to resolve a conflict between a department policy, a city ordinance, or a code requirement and a resident of the city. All 16 applicants are invited to make presentations about their qualifications and reasons for seeking the vacant position at a special city council meeting before the mayor and council on Saturday, July 25th or Saturday, August the 8th. Please watch our wall on Facebook and we'll give you the right date. SCS TV will, of course, film the presentations live and then we'll rebroadcast them at a later date. The final selection will be made at the August 17th City Council meeting. Thank you to all of our applicants for their willingness to serve our community. Now it's time for Be a Good Neighbor, a segment where we feature tips, do's, and sometimes some don'ts on ways that you can improve your neighborhood. Your host for Be a Good Neighbor is Lil Claycomb, chairperson of the St. Clair Shores Beautification Commission. In today's show, Lil is going to talk about the city's new waste disposal guide, the importance of face coverings during the COVID-19 crisis, and our fireworks ordinance.
Thank you so much, Mary Jane. And gee, it's good to be back. It is summer, guys, so let's really enjoy this year. It's a little different than other years, but still, let's enjoy it. Let me bring to you today what St. Clair Shores offers. I'm going to start with this brochure that was in the Sentinel a couple weeks ago. I hope you still have it. If you don't, there are some at City Hall. Remember, our City Hall is now open. And on the front page of this, it tells you the holiday schedule. Every year, every holiday, I get a phone call or two from somebody asking, when is the garbage pickup? It's right here on the front. So be sure you look at that. And remember, also on the front is where to put your garbage, where to put it out on your lawn. The first thing we've got to start at is this mask. It is uncomfortable. I agree. I have a hard time wearing it, but you know what? We want to be safe. Not only yourself, but all the people around you. You know what? Try a new restaurant. The restaurants are now open. Some of them can serve you outside. Try a new store. Let's try and make this summer as good as possible. And with that, remember these masks. Some stores will give you masks when you go in if you don't have one. And a lot of the stores you can buy the masks. So please, and always carry one in your automobile. I myself, I wash this every night, but sometimes I go off in the morning and forget it. So remember to take that. Remember to find a new place in St. Clair Shores. Shop the shores. Walk. You can walk to almost any place. And we have a variety of places. And the second thing I want to make note of is, because this was on TV not too long ago, be careful of your money. Do not send money to these charities and things unless you know. We have churches within this city that you can send to, that you can take food and clothing to. Do not send it in the mail, because 9 chances out of 10, unless you know the charity, it is a fraud. And that is what we want to avoid. The next thing I want to get into is our nurseries are open. Go and get a pot. You can get a pot for $1. Go and put some dirt in it, buy a flower. Flowers are all over now. It gives you an uplifting feeling, and that's what we need right now. So remember, these nurseries, or if you just want to walk through the nurseries, but they have all kinds of soil, they have all kinds of mulch, things that, you know, we can use. With summer comes the lake, comes boats, comes all the swimming that we do. To use these parks, we have to go to Parks and Rec. We get our pass. Remember, buy the pass. The pass is very inexpensive, and it will get you into our parks, and that's what's important. Also, when you're there, there's a new Michigan State voting law. Ask for this sheet. You can also pick it up at City Hall. We will have it in the container there where it has other things that you can get. But this is a new law, and for voters, you may not have a vote, but your son or daughter or neighbor may have a vote. So if you trailer a vote, be sure to get one of these. Let's not forget the wildlife. As much as they may tantalize us at times, and I know they do, but the swans, the ducks, the geese are all protected. They are wildlife. So please, be courteous, try and avoid them as much as possible. I know we all get irritated because of them, but nevertheless, they are here, and we have to look at that. Most important comes summer, we're almost to the 4th of July, and we think fireworks. Unfortunately, we can't have our display this year, but please remember, be a good neighbor. Don't shoot off fireworks 24/7. There is a time frame. There are certain ones you cannot shoot off. Go to the website. There is a website on the firecracker ordinances. Please take care of them. We don't want accidents. We don't want people getting hurt. And not only that, don't throw them in the lake. Don't shoot them so that the debris goes in the lake. And remember, you have certain laws in this city that you must follow. And there is consequences if you don't. So let's all enjoy the holiday a lot. I hope to see you soon. We're going to be talking about new things. And remember, on Sunday is the farmer's market. Take a stroll down if you like. Beautification will be there. We will talk to you on plants. We're even going to give away some hostas. So have a good summer. If you have any questions, Parks and Recs is there for answers to everything regarding the parks. regarding rentals if you want to rent. And nice to talk to you again, and see you soon. Bye now.
Thank you so much for taking your time to share your thoughts with us, Lil. We'll see you next time, and stay safe. In other news, the COVID-19 pandemic has had an impact on every facet of our lives, and that includes conducting business in city buildings. Visitors to every city facility are now required to wear a face covering, unless, of course, a medical condition prohibits wearing one. Things also look a little bit different inside our buildings as well. Per state mandate, all facilities must post signage prohibiting visitors from entering the building if anyone has experienced any of the stated symptoms: fever over 100 degrees, cough, or shortness of breath. You must stop at the sanitation station to disinfect your hands upon entry into every building. Every counter, tax and water, community development, library, city clerk, has a plexiglass barrier between the employee and the visitor. You should also follow the social distancing indicator marks that are placed on the floor. Note that all city facilities must also post signage of occupancy limits. So if you can't get in right away, just wait. Residents visiting City Hall should use the parking lot entrance rather than the front door of the building. To ensure the health and safety of visitors and employees, the city took additional steps to upgrade the air filtration system in all of our buildings and hired our cleaning company for additional hours to disinfect high-touch areas such as restrooms several times during the day. The city also monitors employees for COVID-19 symptoms daily. This to keep you safe. Over the last 3 weeks, the city sent you 2 pieces of useful information as inserts into the Sentinel: the 2020 Waste Disposal Guide that Lil mentioned in her Be a Good Neighbor report, and the Water Quality Report 2020. The Waste Disposal Guide details the city's regulations for recycling, trash, and yard waste disposal, as well as a holiday collection schedule for 2020. Keep it handy for reference on what you can and cannot recycle, what is considered regular yard waste and large brush yard waste, and a contact number for GFL in case you have service issues. The Water Quality Report 2020 provides a snapshot of valuable information about your drinking water. The good news: the city of St. Clair Shores has one of the country's cleanest water systems. We provide you with safe tap water. We are also proud to say that the water we supply meets or surpasses all federal and state standards for water quality and safety. Additional printed copies of the Waste Disposal Guide and the Water Quality Report are available in City Hall and the library. You have to ask the librarian for a copy. You can also access them electronically at the city's website at www.scsmi.net. You just have to go to the very first column that says I want to view, and you click on their titles. That's all there is to it. Now, a quick note for residents who use the white drop box for city business or the United States mailboxes in front of City Hall. Due to construction at City Hall, the city temporarily moved those mailboxes to the parking lot side of City Hall until about mid-July. The city encourages residents, of course, to continue to conduct city business online, by mail, email, or phone whenever possible. Before we sign off for today, City Clerk Mary Katowski has the latest news on the upcoming primary election on August the 4th. Welcome back to the show, Mary. What's happening on the election front?
Thank you, Mary Jane. It again is election time, and we're going to approach shortly the August 4th state primary election. I want to remind you that at a primary election, we're actually participating in nominating candidates. Please read your ballot instructions on your ballot. your absentee ballot, please read these purple instructions about telling you how to vote. I will remind you in voting this election that it's a partisan primary. You only get to participate in one primary section. If you make a mistake and vote in both columns, there is a way to get a replacement ballot. There is a form on the city's web page with directions on the election page about how to sign to get a new ballot, or you can walk into City Hall, return your ballot in the green and white envelope, and come in with picture ID and we'll replace your ballot. Primary election, we're not electing anybody. We're actually helping whichever political party we like to vote in, help them nominate candidates. Absentee ballots will be mailed out the end of June. We're diligently working on well over 10,000 ballots will go out in our first mailing. And you'll get the ballot probably the first week in July. It takes a little longer with our mail system these days with everything going on in the world today. So if you send in the request, you signed an application or a form to my office and returned it to my office, you should be getting a ballot. If you're unsure, you can go to www.michigan.gov/vote, and it has questions about voter information. You can key in your information and see if you're in the group that are getting a ballot, if you've returned an application. If you haven't, right on that website you can get an application. If you don't have computer technology, you can always call my office to ask. If you know you didn't sign a form in the last month to get a ballot, take a piece of paper. If you don't have a PC and don't want to wait, take a piece of paper, say I'd like to vote by absentee ballot, print your name and address on it, sign it, and get it back to my office. You can get it back to my office by walking into City Hall, coming to the clerk's office from 8:30 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. The great thing is we have one drop box that's always been in front of City Hall. While they're replacing the driveway in front of City Hall, that drop box will be relocated temporarily to the back parking lot, the big parking lot entrance at the back of the building. And within the next 3 weeks, we will have a second drop box. So you can either pull into the Circle Drive when the drive is replaced, deposit your ballot or your application there, or in the back of City Hall, you forgot about the drop box out front. We'll have a second one installed within the next 2 to 3 weeks. I want to remind you, the law changed in Michigan back in 2018. Any voter can vote at home by signing a request and returning it to the clerk's office. Again, in person, you can email cityclerk@scsmi.net. You can use the drop box. The most important thing is you have to request a ballot in writing. Everybody who votes, whether you vote at the precincts on election day or you want to vote at home utilizing the absentee ballot process, you have to sign for your ballot each election. On election day, August 4th, all 23 voting locations in the city will be open. As we get close to the August 4th primary, watch the city's website, Facebook, Twitter for more updates on election day. Procedures may change. We're just coming out of that pandemic mode, and we've been lucky in St. Clair Shores. The March election was just over and the pandemic hit, and so now we're gearing up back to August, and we should be in good shape. Remember, as Michigan reopens, we want voters and my election workers working the precincts to feel safe. Based on what level the state is reopened to by election day, you may see my poll workers wanting to wear face masks and or face shields so they feel safe and stay healthy. You may be required or encouraged to wear a face shield or a mask on election day. We may encourage you to bring your own black ink pen so you're only touching your own materials on election day. I want to assure you we will have plenty of pens available for voters at the polls on election day. If you don't want to vote at the polls or you are a high health risk individual, I want to encourage you to vote by absentee ballot. In the next few days or the next week or so, we're going to create a video about the life of an absentee ballot. I want to ensure voters in the election process, when you apply to vote by absentee, you fill out an application, you sign your name to it, we check it against our voter registration file. Our voter registration file also imports your signature from your driver's license file. So there is that match procedure. We mail you out a ballot. Ballots this year, remember, since 2019, we've been using the new absentee ballot envelopes, blue and white. This is the way the ballot comes to your house. You're going to return the green and white. Please read the directions. Most important thing is that you sign your envelope. Your ballot comes back to City Hall. The label on it has a barcode. We scan it into the system. We record it. We keep it in a secured location until Election Day. Absentee ballots, all absentee ballots returned to my office before the polls close on Election Day by 8 p.m. are counted in part of the City of St. Clair Shores total vote count on Election Day. So I want to assure your ballots, the signature is checked twice. They are held in a secure location in my office. I also want to remind people, don't wait. If you're an absentee voter, apply early. You're seeing, our economy and our lifestyle has slowed down. The mail takes much longer than it used to. Please utilize the white drop boxes front and back of the building. If you find last minute you've changed your mind and want to vote by absentee ballot, Saturday before Election Day. So August 1st, we are open from 8 to 4. To help voters get absentee ballots and cast ballots that day. Monday, August 3rd, the day before the election, you could vote at City Hall until 4 p.m. There are 2 exceptions in Michigan election law which restrict early voting. On the day before election, I can issue an absentee ballot after 4 p.m. except in an emergency situation that's happened since Friday, the Friday before. Also on Election Day, absentee ballots can only be given to a person registering to vote on Election Day. That's part of that Prop 18.3 that changed election procedures and voter registration processes in the state of Michigan. I want to remind you, if you have questions about the system, please don't ever hesitate to contact my office. If you'd like more hands-on experience, or if you're available on August 4th, we are always looking for precinct workers. There's an application on the city clerk website. I always look for poll workers to work the precincts on Election Day. Inspectors are paid $150 for Election Day. They're also paid for a 2 to 3 hour training class. Prior to the election, they receive 1 check. After Election Day, it's mailed out. I want to thank you all for voting, and remember, Tuesday, August 4th is a primary nomination, so stay in the one-party column. Thank you for voting.
Thanks so much, Mary, for taking time out of your really hectic schedule to update us about the election. We hope to get a few more reports in before Election Day. And that's the news for this week. I'm Communications Director Mary Jane Doherty. Tune in next week for more SCS Local Matters with information you can trust.